So Visionary Wings is a doujin shooting game from the mid-2000s by collective Neko Mimi no Kakera. Not big on Touhou, and this is very much a touhou-like. Maybe it's bigger or more well-known in that particular scene. Not really sure about that. But this one is very obscure, so much so that I had to kind of go hunting or asking around on Elixir's Discord for anyone who might have the file to play this. The demo is up online on Neko Mimi no Kakera's website, but other than that, I could not find the full game. Eventually did come across it thanks to a helpful person on that Discord, and so now here we are. This is clearly a kind of Touhou-inspired game with some unique mechanics. This sword slashing lets out items which recharge your sword, those little blue orbs, and then scoring items, which are those little kind of money signs, for lack of a more apt way to describe them. And then you have focus shot and you have wide shot by holding shot button and then tapping it respectively. And as you can see, the game kind of rewards aggressive play. I'm staying up way near the top of the screen so I can slash stuff and get all of those items. And when you reach a certain, I believe, score threshold, I'm not sure if there's an item threshold as well, or like a sword item kind of count that gets you an extra life, but definitely at certain score thresholds you get an extend, and I've already gotten one, so I'm up to 5. You got your standard kind of Touhou dialogue before every boss fight. And so then, of course, you have these kind of spell card-like boss encounters. And some other wrinkles in the mechanics that I didn't explain during that stage are, you have this DDR system. If you see those numbers down at the bottom right, the base is, I think, the number of bullets that are currently on screen, and pressing the bomb button once adds all those bullets to your stock. And what higher DDR does is just increase the multiplier that your score is times by every time you kill an enemy or collect a scoring item. And so a press of the bomb kind of hypers in this game and basically makes the enemies go crazy and patterns increase in difficulty. And it creates a kind of external ring around your character that then shrinks. It acts as a timer. And if you make it without getting hit or bombing again, then you collect all the bullets on screen a second time. Now, if you press the bomb button during the hyper, you lose that bomb permanently, and I believe your DDR goes down a little bit, but I'm not 100% sure about that. Basically, it's incentivizing you to use your bombs for like hypering and scoring, and if you use them for survival, you lose them, whereas if you hyper with them, you can get them back by getting 128 sword items. You see that bar filling up next to the word bomb. That is basically counting up to that 128, and every time you fill that meter, you get an extra bomb, as long as you haven't lost the bomb, as long as it's kind of just grayed out and not gone entirely. The other thing is, the game kind of has this cool like push and pull between slashing and shooting, because it basically makes you kind of use your shot more than you otherwise would have to if you could just sword everything, by of course having the sword be tied to a meter, that kind of like a stamina meter that has to refill. And then also, if you use your shot, especially your rapid shot, you fill this ring that around your character that basically helps you collect all of the items, and that's really nice design. I don't know if that's in other like Touhou games or in another Touhou fan game, or if it's unique to this one, but I really enjoyed kind of slashing enemies to release items from them, and then using shot to expand that circle around my character to then collect those items and kind of, you know, go through that loop over and over again. Something that I think is like kind of out of whack in this game is like boss damage. It didn't really feel good, like I was doing significant damage to bosses when I got up in their faces, point blanking them with wide shot or sword slashing them. Just everything kind of just felt like it would bring their health down really slowly, and I kind of wish there was a way to you know, be rewarded for getting up in these enemies' faces more. As you can see, the game is not like that hard once you kind of get the feel for how to sword slash away the bullets. Some of these patterns might be difficult without that that particular mechanic, but since the game does allow you to sword away any fire, this normal mode that I'm playing on, I would say is like, it is not too rough. You know, of course, this kind of thing, you still got to dodge, you still got to know your shooting game fundamentals and stuff for tap dodging and reading these patterns, but I would say it doesn't throw anything too crazy or too like ultra RNG heavy like every Touhou game that I've played. Like, it seems a little bit more interested in you know, having you memorize the patterns and basically have an easier time on subsequent playthroughs. This is a weird level because it introduces lots of environmental stuff, and it's kind of janky. Like, they just kind of trap you in this hallway, and then you kind of got to get up against the wall and slash your sword through the wall in order to kill those guys. Whenever there's you know, a pattern with a ton of bullets, I'm usually gonna hyper, you know, use one of my bombs. Oh god, yeah, those are really fast patterns. I basically blow a couple bombs in order to not take a death there. So yeah, whenever I see a dense pattern, I'm generally going to use a hyper there to collect all of the bullets on screen in order to get that total number down there up. And so now we're hovering about 7,000, so that's just making every enemy I kill and every score item that I pick up worth a lot more. And I'm going to keep getting extends and because of that, and be able to survive the game. At a certain point, I kind of stop scoring a bunch, especially because like I've already spent permanently, there's another extend, I've already spent permanently like half of my bombs, and that's not great. This run is not like a pretty thing, nor is it like a particularly impressive thing to anyone versed in like Touhou play or anything like that. It's really more just to show off this interesting game that I don't see a lot about, and that's basically it. This is a cool boss. She kind of hems you into these really tight corridors. That's kind of her theme. And you have to use your swords. You have to really conserve your sword slash, because if you try and slash away too much, of course, you're gonna not have it at an essential time when you need it. I guess usually I can dodge this pretty good. I think I do a better job of it here. But basically, it's like tap dodging down and then slashing back up, and you can kind of get a couple point blank slashes on her. Cool pattern. I'm occasionally holding sword, which slashes around in a big circle, kind of like Sort of like what happens in Radiant Silvergun. Oh, ooh. That wasn't good. Did I lose 2 lives there? Might have lost 2 lives in that boss, which is not ideal. Usually I can take care of that pattern pretty well. It's funny, Exceed Third Jade Penetrate Black package is another kind of Touhou-like that I spent a lot of time with, and I really love that game. I could swear there was rank in that game, but an expert player informed me that there was not. But I swore I felt it, and in this game, I bring that up because I feel the same way. I think with your as your DDR increases, there is a rank increase, the difficulty of the game increases, but it's subtle enough that, like, I can't exactly be sure about that. I just know that sometimes those bosses, like if I had not lost a life yet, some of those bosses, like that boss that I just fought, it seemed like some of those patterns were more difficult than they are when I encounter them with having lost more lives or taken more hits or whatever. So who knows? Something to play around with or keep in mind. Shit, if you check this game out. I love slashing these clumps of enemies and all these items popping out of them, and then wide-shotting to increase that ring around it. I mean, just like I said before, that loop is like ultra satisfying. I did kind of mess around with the hard mode of this game. It just felt like I didn't love the game enough to make it that difficult on myself to get a clear, especially with no real ability to practice, if I'm remembering correctly. But yeah, it would pose a good challenge for anyone who liked the look of this, these mechanics and stuff, but felt like maybe the patterns are a little too easy, or they're like Touhou lunatic no miss no bombers or whatever. Like this would be something to check out. Don't like this boss. She spawns, her deal is spawning clumps of bullets down the screen in kind of like these random places. They are kind of projected with those little light globes that fall down, but and those little flashes that appear, but it's kind of tough to read. I know I did say earlier that there was no kind of like super bullshit RNG stuff like there is in a lot of Touhou games, but this is kind of a little bit like that. Not too bad though. In fact, I think I no-missed this boss, which I do not usually do. And that other boss, that previous one that I usually do really well on, I sucked. So, such is life. I looked up the kind of high scores because this group, Neko Mimi no Kakera, has still has the site up for the game and has like the high scores from when it was popular. And the highest score is something like 10 times, or 15 times what I was able to get here. I didn't spend no time trying to learn this game and route it. I didn't spend too much time, obviously, but like I am super fucking impressed with those numbers and would love to see a replay of the game. I haven't looked on like the Japanese video sites, but something tells me that, I don't know, they might not exist. Obviously, video recording is not was not like the first concern of Japanese shmup players, especially at that time. So this is the last level. I don't know if you noticed, but there's paths in this game. I don't really know how the paths affect stuff. Like basically you can just it seemed to me like you could just play the levels in any order that you wanted, but there were no other levels than the ones you're seeing. There might be one more that differs. Like, I could have chosen a different one from this one, but this is the one I've practiced, and so I just kind of kept at it. But anyway, this one jumps straight to level 6. The game, if you noticed, jumped from 4 to 6. Or no, is this 7? There's something weird going on with the level numbers. That's all I mean to say. I'm tired as hell. Trying to just not let these spiders or, other things release their massive amounts of bullets. Okay, I have no more bombs, and this is the final boss. Same kind of deal with that boss before, where, like, she's gonna put these kind of light indicators of where these bullet clusters are gonna... Oh, that was stupid. I should have just sword slashed. Yeah, so the lights indicate where the clusters are gonna kind of expand outward from, and yeah, that's basically her deal. I try to go up there and get a bunch of sword slashes, but yeah, their health just goes down so slowly almost no matter what. I think it did a little bit more damage than just my puny little 3-shot here is doing, but not much. Nothing too hard about this with the sword. You're just kind of like making sure you slash away stuff that spawns super close to you. You don't want to be sitting right on top of one of those light globes. That's all there is to it. Okay, now there's this guy, kind of her final form, or her like minion or whatever, and he sprays these much more dense patterns, but pretty easy. And in fact, there's even like a safe spot of sorts in that pattern, but I basically didn't even bother to find it because it's just not that hard to dodge. When the enemy is not like a tiny little girl, when it's something like this that has a wider hitbox, your wide shot really does help. I used a bomb there just to make sure I killed that guy. That probably wasn't the smartest thing, but I did know that in the true last boss kind of segment that's coming up, they do give you a bomb after every single phase, so that's good. Alright, so this is just a boss rush. Unfortunately, it's just facing all of the, like a couple of the phases of each of the bosses again, with like virtually no changes or additions to the patterns, which is kind of lame. Boss rushes are not my favorite thing in the world in general, but when you don't even like vary up the patterns at all, like that's, I don't know, just why do it then? It just feels like padding the game out for, just for length. Oh, so dumb. All right, one life left. It's not like you can have 0 lives in this one. It's that one life. If it's lost, game over. So there's my extra bomb. And now I'm on to the second boss of 5 in this rush, I want to say. Toughest part of that boss is when she kind of sprays those big streams of, big arced streams of shots. You want to be kind of up close to her and move to the right and then to the left. Oh. Oh my god. Oh my god. That was so scary. Okay, and I bombed. Alright. No bombs. 1 life. Luckily, hurt her enough to not have to deal with that pattern. And then this one... Yeah. They just go down pretty quick in this boss rush, so you don't have to deal with it for so long that it becomes super dangerous. No bombs. Still doing just fine here. This part is a little bit scary just because of how hard it is to read kind of these lights and what they mean for where these like little bullets are going to start flying from their origin point. I mean, I sort of get it, especially when like watching the footage back, but when playing, it's tough to keep track of. And this pattern is so much harder if you don't stay up close, dodging those big crosses falling down and the arc, the spreads. But yeah, it's just staying up close in this game is going to help you out a lot. Okay, now I'm fighting the final boss again with these kind of Pro Gear-esque expanding clusters. Just slashing them away whenever they bounce near me. Use my bomb. Got spooked, I guess. God, it's such a finicky, annoying thing in Touhous and touhou-likes that your enemy during these boss fights is so small. In your arcade games, you're usually fighting this gargantuan ship that has a massive that'll get hit no matter kind of where you are on the screen. And in this one, they have to give you like an indicator of where horizontally it is, so you can like try and get to where it'll actually take damage. It's frustrating. Not this guy though. This guy's a big boy. That's it. So yeah, again, nothing super impressive or like, high level about that run. Just really trying to show the mechanics of the game, and I liked it enough to see it through to a normal clear for, a few days of playing it, and I think it's worth checking out, especially if you're a fan of Touhou.